Welcome, nerds and nerdettes, to the Status Effect Podcast, a show where three friends gather to talk about games and other cool stuff. My name is Michael, and to my right is Justin.
Hi, I'm Justin, and I realized we just forgot to do this
I
whole
know.
thing on the last episode, but that's fine.
We're so
Everything's
excited
fine.
about
I know,
Pokemon.
yeah. How you doing, Zach? You're on my left.
War never changes. I don't know any of
does it
the
not?
other one. I don't know any other.
I think it does.
One time
sometimes.
Snake said, War has changed.
Did he really?
Yeah, because there's like ID tag guns.
And Bethesda
ID
said,
tag
nah.
soldiers.
That's right. Fallout 76 is out as well. Last week we were so busy
Does
with Pokemon.
anybody care, though?
I think it's more like to say Fallout never changes. It's always the
Fallout.
same shit.
Fallout never changes. That's good.
Way better
That's
analogy.
good. Yeah. I have not personally spent money on it. Because I don't want to.
Sick burn.
But I think that that I've seen enough of it to know that it's trash.
What? Okay, why is it trash?
Okay,
now,
all right.
What is your opinion on Fallout in general?
Okay. I played New Vegas and I played 4.
Now, some people would
Parts
say
of 3.
all Bethesda games are kind of garbage
They're
in
all
a way.
well. Okay. Now this is coming from a person
It's
who
not
is
fair to say garbage.
No, I don't think so.
and
either,
this
but
comes from
I'm
me.
trying to gauge
So, yeah.
with the opinion.
where I'm at. Okay.
Yeah,
All
where you're
right.
at.
So Skyrim was one of my favorite games of all time.
Okay.
So I'm not a Bethesda hater.
Okay. Gotcha.
I think their formula, in my opinion, suits well to medieval like spells.
Yeah.
And I like that
Granted,
better.
I think the formula might be a little dated at this point.
it is
but,
dated, but in my opinion, suits better to the medieval time. So
Yeah.
I played Fallout 4, was the most recent Bethesda game, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
and it was okay. It was exactly what I thought it was going to be. I did sink a good chunk of time in it. I enjoyed it.
I did as well.
It was good, not anything groundbreaking.
Great.
I think
It
that
wasn't great.
describes all their games. for
Yeah,
me.
it was what I thought it was
Perfectly
gonna be.
fine. It took a lot of my time, but when I walk away from it, I don't miss it at all, and I probably won't ever touch it again.
No, exactly. So Bethesda said, we're changing things, and not for the better.
Yeah.
So
Because what they do so well is multiplayer, right?
yeah,
Is
that's
that
what they're
this thing
known
is?
for.
I mean, Elder Scrolls Online is like a great MMO, guys. Probably said somebody
Said
who never
said,
heard of it.
said Bethesda at first. So basically, if you don't know, Fallout 76 is the newest rendition of the Fallout game where you are, after nuclear apocalypse, you're in a vault and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So this is online now.
Mm-hmm.
And so they did away with the narrative for the most part. There are little story quests you can do when you
Yeah.
find little things, but there's no
But
NPCs.
Isn't it like a crafting game at
Pretty much
at its
No,
forefront?
I don't
Yeah.
mean to say there's no NPCs. Period. There are NPCs, but they're all enemies. There are no.
Because see, that's where the
interactable-
story takes place. Is like as soon as it happened, and you're
Yeah.
the first one out.
Exactly,
Or whatever.
and
So,
I think Bethesda games lean hard on narrative.
yeah, and like little villages that you go to, and like learning about the people that live there and their
Exactly.
culture.
So
and
take
kind
all
of
of that
stuff.
away, and then you've got
Yikes.
absolutely nothing. I've heard and seen for myself, and what I thought this game was going to be when I first heard about it was boring as bleep this out.
I mean, the problem is that these sort of looter shooter type games like Destiny and stuff, these companies, or this Anthem game that's coming up now, I don't think some of these companies understand how difficult it is to make a game like that and keep it engaging over
I don't
a
think
long
that's the
period
same
of
type
time.
of game though that
I
Fallout's
think
trying
it's
to be.
sort of
Fallout. It
is.
sounds like Fallout's trying to be like Rust or like.
Well, yeah, but
It's like
there's-
mixing those together. If you mix
Yeah.
like a Rust with the
Okay.
It's like you have the sort of player-created structure shenanigans from Rust
Yeah.
combined with the grind to, run through basically like co-op PvE content to get crap.
Now I
Oh,
did
okay,
like.
okay.
Now there's a couple elements of this that I thought that would have been cool to see played up on. I liked the camping part of Fallout 4, like how you can have a base and like put up defenses and stuff.
I did it for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I liked mine.
I liked Minecraft a lot.
Man, you
but that was
just breaking all the rules, aren't you? Anyway, I liked the camping. It was cool to have my own base and have my own like
Sure.
4-headed cow or whatever that runs around.
Brahmin.
Yeah.
Real meat.
So the thing that I thought it was cool that you can have your own like camp in this server. That's cool.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
new idea at all, but
No.
but cool.
It could. I mean, I don't think that's one of those things that's a good idea that still hasn't really been executed super duper well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I'm
yeah.
not sure this game did either.
I don't know for 100%
So-
sure, but I'd also now this is pretty cool. This part.
Okay.
So the PvP version of this, not version. There's only one version, but like
Right.
the style or whatever. Now to discourage people from just wiping everyone out,
Right.
they implemented a bounty system where if you kill another person in cold blood or whatever, you get a bounty on your head, and that bounty increases over how many people you killed and stuff. So
Cool
there's an
idea.
incentive for
and,
other people
and now
to kill
it
you.
notifies other people that you have this
Yes,
bounty.
so you have a bounty on
That's
your head.
kind of cool.
I
Super
liked
cool
that
idea.
idea because then you have, in my mind, what I would want if I had unlimited time, I guess, and not a child and a wife. I love you both very, very much. They're never going to watch this. It doesn't matter. What I would like to see is I want to be a gang leader and just like control my server and have like a 4,000 cap bounty on my head and have like goons.
Like a posse to protect you.
Yeah, and stuff. That would be like that, like a
cool.
meta kind of thing you could do.
I
That'd
think,
be really cool.
what was that game? The Division kind of did the same thing with the Dark Zone,
They
didn't
did it. They did it in a way more video gamey way, where
Yeah,
you
yeah.
go into the dark zone, you play or kill enough, and you basically get like a nav marker that tells people exactly where you are.
Yeah.
So it kind of doesn't. It's more like a gamey thing and not like a meta sort of thing
Yeah.
like Zach's talking about.
Yeah.
Now there were things that happened like sort of like that on some MMOs, like World of Warcraft and things like that back in the day. Is because it was a fixed server and you were playing with the same people all the time, eventually you could develop a reputation as a ganker or something, and people would hunt you down or like call hit squads on you and stuff like that.
That's kinda
I've had
crazy.
situations like that, but now I don't know if
Now-
Fallout 76 has like a dedicated server that you're a part
I
of,
don't know.
or so it's kind of hard to make that sort of thing work in a non-gamey way if you don't have like a constant community.
I just thought that if it is dedicated server, that would be really cool
Yeah.
to implement. Not worth the $60 for the game, I don't think, but the cool idea. I'd like to see where it goes.
I mean, that's the thing is like when it comes to a multiplayer game like this, I think what
Player
a lot of
base
these
is a
developers
huge-
are missing out on
Yeah.
is ways to encourage like healthy player interactions. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, yeah.
you need to design the mechanics so that you encourage people to make friends with people that are like. I had an idea for a thing that instead of having a little like automatic group finder, you basically put in like the game would analyze the times of day you play at or whatever.
oh, that's
And like the
interesting.
kind of modes you want to play, like multiplayer or whatever,
And it would match
just
you with
match
people.
you with people,
Like
not,
online
not for that.
dating.
Yeah, exactly. Not for that one game, but to try and hook you up with a friend that can
that you would
be
actually,
your homeboy
yeah.
in that game.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're
That's
on
kinda
at the
cool.
same time, and
Right.
you know,
Now,
it's Hello Cupid or whatever.
Let me ask this: like,
Exactly.
what are me and my homeboys? If I find a homeboy by any miracle,
And you mean homeboy or you mean boy?
It's okay, Michael.
It's all right.
It's okay, man. It's okay. We'll get you a flashlight for Christmas. It'll be all right. It'll be all right.
We'll get you a plush Eevee that you can play.
what are lonely people like me gonna do in the game? Is my question.
Nothing.
Like, what?
Solo
like,
Nothing.
players,
You're
yeah.
you're absolutely nothing. That's why people are having it's in an uproar right now because it's
so say
boring.
I spend $60 on this game. What do I do?
Yeah.
You,
I boot it
you
up.
wake up, you immediately get thrown out of the vault. There's not a bunch of fanfare like the originals, like story.
I just
lore.
walk out.
You walk out, and then you are spat up in this world that I've heard is really pretty and really interesting to explore in some
I'm
ways.
sure.
yeah, I've
but-
heard good things about that.
But overall, like narrative wise, you just get pooped out of the vault. Period. That's it.
And then what do you do?
You can, if you want to
You
do
build
solo,
stuff?
you build stuff, you find stuff. I've also heard some bad things about like the spawns of the enemies and how like even though the enemy base is supposed to be really varied, they're actually only scorched everywhere, like the enemy type. And a lot of people are mad about how they were claiming there's a bunch of different enemy types, and most of the time they just run up on the same ones over and over again.
Yeah, I think some of that stuff could be.
It's probably like randomly generated or procedurally
yeah.
generated at some level,
A
but
lot of it might be bugs,
Or that, yeah.
especially. I've heard,
Bethesda's
like,
super buggy
things
always.
with connectivity issues and stuff. A lot of that I don't feel it's fair to judge a game on because so many games these days have launch day issues with things like not being able to
Yeah,
play with
that's-
your
I
friends
mean-
and stuff. I feel like that kind of thing, you got to give them like a week just to,
Sure.
to sort out. If it's still a problem, then okay, yeah, the game's bad.
I think the bigger issue is just the game is just bad. Though.
Now,
Well, yeah.
the only thing really solo you can do is you don't get missions from people. You might get them from robots, maybe, and they're not going to give you any kind of story. They're just going to say this is what it is. You can find
They're gonna say go get this
holotapes.
ramen meat or whatever.
Yeah, you can get holotapes that will point you in directions for like side quests and stuff.
Do we know what the end game looks like? What do you do once you hit the level cap or whatever?
I don't.
Because
I have not heard anything about
it.
end game.
One guy was really bored. He couldn't find anything to do. He had made like a melee character, and the PvP was bad for him because he was just getting pooped on because he was melee because he's an idiot, I guess. And I just it's to me when I looked at this game, I thought, Sea of Thieves. You know, it's gonna have all the same problems as that game.
Yeah, that's fair.
With a little more polish and a bigger name behind it.
Yeah.
And
Like, look, you can play Fallout with your friends.
I think Sea of Thieves probably overall was better.
It probably is now.
Kind of sound like a hater, dude.
I'm not a hater. I think it seems like it would have been more fun because Sea of Thieves was so original. Fallout 76 is just Fallout with no Fallout. You know what I mean? It's just
wow.
That should be the title. It's just like Fallout 76 review Fallout with no Fallout.
That's basically what it sounds like, dude. It's just it's a Bethesda game without the few things that made Bethesda decent.
I was trying to give it a chance, but pretty much the moment I heard that it was released, I mean that they were going to do it, I was like, no, that's
I don't know.
Not
I think it could be maybe like a Destiny situation where
it could get better over time.
It could get better. You know, that's happened a lot with these sort of games.
Yeah.
But to me,
how is Destiny doing? I don't really keep up with
Destiny
it.
is marvelous right now.
Is it?
I like it a lot.
I have never played.
Like
I started playing it for the first time because Destiny 2 went free for some period of time. And I like what I've played, but I finished what would have been the original Destiny 2 base game
for $60
in like 2 days.
Really?
And I gotta say, I absolutely understand why the game was so poorly received after playing it.
Yeah.
Wait.
The amount of content is just.
Let's take a break and then we'll come back and talk about Destiny.
Okay.
And how that
Why wouldn't you cut off when you were gonna say, "Oh, what about? I wonder how Destiny's doing," instead of waiting for Justin to say something? You piece of
Because I love cutting you off. We're back. Talk about Destiny. Pretend we weren't like super
Before I was
racist.
rudely interrupted by Zach. We were talking about Destiny, and it was just recently made free to play briefly. By the time this goes up, it's probably too late. Sorry.
Yeah.
I think it's actually the last day today, the 17th.
Oh, it might be.
But so I played it for the first time. Never played Destiny 1, and I don't know if you guys remember, the game was very poorly received when it first came out. And playing through the main campaign, it is very, very easy to see why.
Yeah.
It's extremely short. It was probably less than 10 hours.
And after that's done, there's really not much else to do.
There's just nothing to do. Yeah. Everything is kind of like, having played it now that all this launch DLC has come out, there's a bunch of things that they haven't really done to accommodate for players that are starting out later.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I did this thing called a strike, which is sort of like a dungeon in an MMO or something like that. And it recommends a certain item level. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, it's telling me I can do this to help myself level up, so I'll just try it. Yeah. Whatever, right? It's not going to put me in anything impossible, right? No, that's wrong. It did, okay? So I go into this dungeon with 2 other guys. They were extremely patient. That's the nicest thing I can say about them. I did literally 0 damage this entire thing, okay? When everybody wipes, it tells you how much damage you've done, how many kills you have. Goose egg the whole time. This took like an hour because we died so many times. We must have wiped on the boss like 4 different times. Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, but they could have been Brazilian for all I know because they never said anything. But they didn't quit. That is what blew my mind.
But let me ask you, what did the level recommendation say on that strike?
Like I said, it was higher, but I figured it would. And that's what I'm saying is they haven't done certain things to make it easier to get into.
Yeah.
Like if you were playing another game, it would tell you, hey, you know what? You're too low level. I'm not going to let you do this. Or we'll scale the mission down so that you can participate in some way. But in this game, no. I was getting one-shotted by the enemies, the little zombies that run around and swing. Yeah. Those were one-shotting me instead of me flying across the map. Like it was the hardest mode. You know what I'm saying? But it was fun. I had a good time. Other people would have probably been turned off super hard by that. Yeah. But for me, it was fine.
You get off on that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a sadist.
You love getting pounded.
But there's a lot of little things like that that's kind of weird, make it hard to get into the game. The game doesn't show like stats on your guns, so you really have no idea what's good and what isn't. And even now that I got the game for free, played that 10 hours, and now they want me to buy the expansion.
That's what I was about to ask.
Be able to do
like, how much
is
the expansion?
Well, I mean, you can't really.
It's $40. Then there is a season pass for whatever's coming out for the next year. So if you've actually bought all the DLC up to this point when it came out, you probably spent over $100 on this game.
Guaranteed.
And I gotta say, like, it plays well. You know, like you can tell that it was made by a AAA company because like the movement feels okay, not amazing. Like the jumping in particular, I don't really like at all. It feels like you have no control. But
well, you can. There are different perks that give you more control.
Well, like I play the class where you get multiple jumps, right?
Yeah.
And if you compare the multi-jump in this game to a game like TF2, it's like a night and day. If I jump forward and try and jump back, I barely move. Whereas in TF2, you have complete control over.
There are
exactly
3 different perks that you can change on the jump mechanic that gives you more directional control.
Oh, I tried that
either
one. It's
more
also,
jump height
it's still really bad. It's not like you cannot. This is not a situation where you can like jump forward and then jump back the same distance. You just can't.
Sure, yeah, you're probably right.
And it feels like sloppy in some ways. Now all the guns handle really well, like shooting a revolver, a shotgun, and everything. All
I will say by far the best thing about Destiny is the gunplay itself.
Yeah,
all the guns feel really good.
One thing that I don't like though is that again with a gun like a revolver, in order to get headshots, you basically have to iron sight. You cannot play shooting from the hip pretty much ever. The guns just have some kind of like arbitrary inaccuracy. They just won't hit where you aim, and it kind of slows the game down a little bit. The other thing is the game has classes or whatever, but they're all, and I don't know if Fallout has something similar. I don't know how your character is differentiated from other characters.
Yeah.
But like in Destiny, you have classes, but they barely mean anything. They all feel extremely samey. They have like the only difference between your class and another class is your jump is slightly different, and you have like 2 other buttons you can press that go on cooldowns.
Well, the super is the biggest difference, and I don't really know how all the interactions between the supers work because I'm not that into the game yet.
Same.
But I do know that the different supers have different interaction with each other, and they all have their different uses in the various modes. Like some are better for PvP, some are better for PvE.
Right.
And so
it
on.
Reminds
so
me of like Borderlands. That was what I think of.
Sure.
In some ways, Borderlands actually seems like it lets you differentiate your character more than Destiny, and I don't think that should be the case. It seems like there should, like, I would like to have more buttons that do things other than just shoot. 99% of the time, you're just shooting your gun, or like Michael said, using your super.
Right.
And like you have a grenade that's slightly different for every class, but it's just a grenade. You just throw it.
It's a shooter though. Like
I get that. But it's like, why have classes if they're all basically the same thing?
Michael, you're the best, man. You're just so positive. Like,
I just mean like that's like me saying like I like Mario, but I wish there was more guns. I would like it's Mario. So. Like Destiny is a shooter.
It is a shooter, but it also has these abilities. They already exist. I'm not asking for them to add something that doesn't exist. I'm saying I want the
literally
things that exist
6
to be
different supers for each class.
But it's just a button. It's like that one button that you press, and it like
for example, I feel like you always want so much.
I do.
Yeah.
I do
you
want so much.
You are on both opposite.
I expect better out of the game, right? I mean, I don't see what's wrong with that.
Now, this is like his favorite game of all time or whatever it is. He'd be like, Counter-Strike. He's like, yeah, that's okay. It's a good game.
I mean, it still has problems.
But
absolutely.
Overall, I think personally Destiny 2 is a really good game, right as it stands right now.
I don't know if I could say that. Like, if somebody, like, for example, now that the free-to-play thing is over or whatever, if someone was going to say, hey, Justin, should I buy the base game Destiny 2 right now? Well, knowing that they'd have to pay another like $40, $50, $60.
Well, you don't have to. You just buy the $40 Forsaken and you get everything.
Don't you have to buy the base game separately?
No.
So
what?
Why are they making?
Why don't you just wait and buy the?
Wait. That doesn't make sense then. So if the main game is free for a limited time, then that just goes away, and you have to buy this expansion in order to get.
Wait, what? What are you talking about?
The free thing, the main game.
The free thing is literally just once you download it, you have it forever.
Right.
But it's only Destiny as it came out when it came out, without Forsaken, without
if he went and this wasn't a free thing, right, and he bought the expansion that comes with a download of the original game for free.
Okay, that makes it a little better. At that point, I guess I would say I'm not sure if you should get it or not. Okay. For 40, I'd lean towards yes. If you think
the amount of content that you get with Forsaken for $40 is superb. Like I think it is definitely worth.
But isn't that
$40.
just because they gypped you on the front end of that?
Well, yeah, but I wasn't around for that.
Yeah.
That's in the past, dude. That's in the past. Absolutely. We're talking about the present.
And from the guy that I know that plays Destiny a lot, who's actually like kept up with it as they were coming out, the first 2 expansions were really bad.
Yeah. Well,
or was it the first 3?
Just the Curse of Osiris was really bad. Warmind was good.
Warmind wasn't that great either.
Warmind wasn't as good as Forsaken, but it was way better than Curse of Osiris. Well, and Forsaken is just like another level. I just don't
like the mindset that they seem to have with, let's put out an unfinished game because we're going to fix it with DLC that you have to pay more money for.
I don't know if that was the mindset, but I do think like that, it does feel like that.
I mean,
it does feel like
Destiny's in a weird place because there's a bunch of content that was in the first game. Like, I was just talking to this guy, the Destiny guy, again last night when I was playing, and they had a mode called, what are the little motorcycles called?
Sparrows.
Sparrow. They had a Sparrow racing thing.
That was lit,
and it's just like a track they made out of the maps, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't exist in Destiny 2.
Yep.
It'd be something that would be super easy for them to put in. They already have like a waypoint system in the game, but they just haven't done it for some reason. So the game has all this stuff that even now, a year after release, the first game had that it still doesn't. And for something that you're paying for all these expansions, paying for another game, it doesn't make sense that they don't keep building.
Yeah, I like Destiny a lot. I played Destiny 1, but I didn't play it from launch. I played it once everything came out and just bought it all for $50 or whatever it was. And I think that's just the way to do it.
Yeah, and that isn't good though.
No, that's not good.
You're punishing the people that are your most loyal customers.
Your loyal customers, yeah.
And I think that it has a lot to do with just Activision though. It's just them trying to make money. I don't think it has anything to do with Bungie necessarily.
It's really sad.
And I just think they're
so corrupt.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's really too bad because I think the game has a ton of potential, but you can tell, like by the schedule that they're working on, they always have to have this next content out.
Yeah.
There's never going to be any big improvements, and if they happen, they're not going to stick. Because
I think Forsaken was a huge improvement, though.
Well, yeah, but the problem is, are all those improvements going to make it into Destiny 3, which is going to be coming out in 2 years?
Probably not.
And that is disgusting to me. Like, probably can't...
Man, this
it's
episode,
like worse than Call of Duty, you know?
Like last week, we were so positive. We were just loving on some Pokemon, giving Eevee a little something.
There's stuff to be positive about.
No, I know.
There is, because I've probably spent 20 some odd hours in Destiny over the past week or so.
Yeah, but I spend 40 hours a week at work, and I don't mean it's a good thing.
Well, yeah, but you make money doing that, right? So
you do. But I've had a lot of fun with Destiny 2. Like I downloaded the free thing, and I was like, I want to play more, so I'll spend
me too.
I'll spend the $40 on Forsaken or whatever it is, and I have not stopped playing since.
Yeah,
and I love every second. I got this cool Sparrow. I'm going on strikes. I'm doing all these. I'm hunting Barons right now.
All I'm hearing is
like
blah blah blah. I have
powerful.
no idea what you're talking about.
I just want it to be a little more hardcore, a little more. I would like a hard mode. If there was a hard mode for Destiny,
sounds like you found it. Just
go
into strikes.
Well, yeah, but then I can't actually do damage.
Now,
like I need to actually be able to hurt stuff.
Now, granted, you can't really say there's no hard mode when you haven't even experienced half of what Destiny has to offer.
No, what I mean is I would like from the start for the game to be harder because it's way too easy. Now, I've heard that there are things that are more challenging later on, and I'm looking forward to that stuff, but...
I want to get pounded from the start. I just wanted to beat me over the face.
It's like you can't die. It's so easy at some points. It has the same. Like,
I want to step out
the beginning of the game is easy. I'll give you that.
What?
But like,
beginning of games are normally easy.
But see, that's the thing. No. Usually they are.
Oh, I'm Zach. I'm so positive all the time.
That's not me. I'm just saying. Like, it just seems like a lot to say. Like, when I start a game, I immediately just want to get crushed by.
Like, if you play some of the Nightfall strikes,
you guys are talking to me for asking for a difficulty selector in a game. It's 2018.
But like,
hello.
If you just play the game,
I am.
You'll realize that like the Nightfall strikes are some of the hardest stuff in Destiny. Like all the modifiers, like the raids, is some of the most complicated.
I get all that. What I'm saying is, if you're gonna like, it's the same thing with every MMO like this, right?
Okay.
You have the first X hours where you're getting to that point where the game actually begins. I don't like that point, and I feel like
it has to exist to teach the player.
Necessarily. How would a hard mode not teach the player the same thing they're going to learn otherwise? If anything, it would
with
do that
a lot of
better.
Frustration. Justin.
Yeah, not everyone has just
throw a lot of people
away. That's why you
away.
make it a selector, boys. Hello, Jesus
it's
Christ.
2018.
It is literally 2018. It's almost 2019.
Okay.
Destiny 2 is a great game. Don't
Destiny
listen to
2,
this guy.
put a hard mode.
If it's only $40 and you like shooters, especially if you like Halo, it's probably worth it. Especially if you have friends. If you don't have friends, maybe not.
See,
yeah, you're right. Probably, it's probably not worth playing by yourself.
Oh well, then I'm out.
And I would get it on PC because mouse controls are way better.
And 60 FPS is
and it looks a lot. It looks a lot better on PC.
All right. Well, You hear it here first. Fallout, I probably didn't hear it here first. Fallout 76 is garbage. Destiny 2 is okay, but needs a hard mode at the beginning.
You heard it first.
You also need like a second bank account in order to play it, probably.
Fallout 76 is like Fallout without the Fallout.
Yep.
I want that on a t-shirt.
That's my quote.
Oh, guys.
It's not fall, it's just out.
What?
You see my shirt?
No. Is this
is
this shameless marketing?
No, it's not.
Okay.
I can't get my jacket undone.
Oh my god. I wish there was an easy mode selector for this fucking zipper, dude.
It says achievement unlocked fatherhood. And then she has one that says new character creation.
How many matching shirts do you guys have?
As many as I can get my hands on. What kind of questions that?
Okay.
But join us next week. We'll talk about something else.
Hopefully.
Finger guns.
You didn't do finger guns last week.
It was a crazy week.
It was crazy.
A
lot of pheromones in there.
Guns are not really appropriate for Pokemon anyway.
It's true.
Yeah.